everyone's going after Obama right now. But you know, he could put a stay on the don't ask, don't tell.
Absolutely, that's
his military, some of his military leaders are saying that would be difficult. And I don't know what the right answer.
He could do a stop loss, and he could also say that there were absolutely no funding. He was going to cut off funding towards prosecuting anyone who was executed or removed on don't ask, don't tell.
But on these other things like ENDA and don't ask, don't tell, finally, Congress has to be heavily involved.
Exactly, right. Well, but at the same time, though, if you look back to the '63 movement, it was Kennedy that was pushing the speaker to say, look, if you don't, pass this, I'm going to be after you and the things that you're supporting. He became our advocate.
And that's what I saw today was that people are saying that, they understand it has to go through Congress, but they want Obama to, like, he didn't say anything about Maine. And they want him to get up and say that.
I mean, if you're a fierce advocate, you don't go on television and say, I believe in equality for LGBT people, but I think marriage should be between a man and a woman. That's not a fierce advocate. That is someone who's trying to play
Which he said before the election. But I don't know if he said after that.
No, he said it recently.
Oh, did he?
He said it at the HRC dinner.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I mean, I saw the dinner, but I don't remember him saying that.
He said, I forgot how he said it, but he said, although we may disagree, I don't know how he said it, but it was still a very clear...
little wishy-washy.
Exactly, right. And on top of that, you have the Democratic National Convention and all of the different, infrastructures that we support financially to put Democrats in office that are sending out leaflets, and they're not even mentioning to vote no on Maine. In my opinion, there's not the option of, abandoning the party. I don't think that we could ever win by doing that. But I do believe that we should be identifying and working to elect people that are going to say clearly we are for full federal equality. And for the march, I mean, the reason that you didn't see Tammy Baldwin or any of those people that are supposed to be representing us is because we said to be able to go on stage, you have to say from the stage that you will fight for full federal equality. And Tammy Baldwin was one of the people that was unwilling to do that.
What do you think went wrong in Maine? What do you think was the...
I don't think
because it was a high voter turnout.
I don't think anything went wrong in Maine. I think that the reality is, like I've always said, the majority is always going to be able to outvote the minority.
And it seems like all over the country we're like 4 points behind all the time.
I mean, if we voted today in some states, we could reinstate segregation. I truly believe that in the South, you would have a high...
South, you could probably do it,
I mean, honestly. And the reality is it's a federal mandate that protects a marginalized part of our community that is blatantly discriminated against. And in this situation, I think that I have no other choice than to fight back as soon as possible. And that's why I support the 2010 efforts, because I'm like, I'm not waiting for... That's like, Joe Solomon saying I want to wait till 2017. I mean, you give
that was a bad
statement.
I mean, he wasn't actually saying wait until, but it was he
but
worded
he's saying
it poorly.
by 2017. But by
we'll
2017, we don't even know that we're going to have the same Congress and Senate that we had in place.
I thought it was interesting that he went to 2017 instead of 2012.
Well, is that No, 2011. It would have been 2011.
2011, I didn't understand that.
Because by 2011,
we could lose Obama.
Exactly, that's it. And I think that's arrogant thinking on our part. And I think that it also comes from a standpoint that if we look like we're complacent and we look like we don't care, then they're going to be justified and more emboldened to say, see, if we just keep pumping money into these things.
There's been some stuff on the internet. Somebody has an initiative. They've been okay to collect signatures for an initiative in California to ban divorce, just to scare them into thinking we could take your rights away as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, there were people that didn't want Mitchell Gold to have signs, his Faith in America organization, that said bigotry on them. And I understand what the studies say about you're going to throw people away based on your thoughts about that word. But in my own personal opinion, walking on the street with a sign that says bigot, if that's what the definition is, then that's what the definition is.
Exactly. We can't allow them to twist it where, like the minister that wouldn't marry the interracial couple, he says, I'm not a racist, I just don't believe in mixing the races. You have to call it like it is.
Well, obviously the 2010 effort is the next step, the opportunity.
How do you feel about the going door-to-door stuff as opposed to going to the courts?
Oh, I want to go to the courts. I mean, I want to change hearts and minds. Believe me, that's. I think that.
Do you think that's possible?
But I don't think. No, I don't think it's. I don't think that's an ability. But I think that canvassing has its merits. Talking to people has its merits. But I shouldn't have to do that to get my equality.
Exactly.
Because the reality is the courts could decide tomorrow that we get full federal equality, and the bottom line is I'd still need to go door to door. because just because the laws are there doesn't mean that the laws are going to be upheld.
Because of the constitutional situation in California, the courts did approve it, and then they went out and overturned it, and they still have the right to do that.
Absolutely.
And that's a much tougher thing to do a constitutional referendum.
Exactly. And you go back to the idea of get the rights and then defend them instead of trying to fight for rights and also defend them with the minimal ones that we have.
Maybe the hate crimes bill is the first federal law we've had ever since the history of the nation.
Exactly
so that could start to sway minds.
Right. Exactly.
Exactly. So.
But I think that I was thinking about this today because I was thinking, well, why ENDA before this, before that? ENDA, in my opinion, has the ability to reach the hearts and minds of a person that says, oh, someone was killed. And I can feel sorry for them. And it's not a gay person anymore that is someone that I have to give them rights. But ENDA protects people.
Don't ask them to tell.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, the hate crimes bill. Sorry, I said the wrong thing. But the hate crimes bill protects people based on protecting people who have been harmed or whatever. So they can. I feel like the religious right and the conservatives, I don't argue that they would be able to use that as something that they'd say, oh, look, this is a positive thing or whatever, and the sky didn't fall or whatever. I think that they would argue as that's the only one that I would give up because nobody should kill anybody else. I'm against abortion.
Although some of them now are saying that that's going to make them subject to lawsuits.
Exactly, right.
Which isn't even true.
Right. That's the extremist view of it.
Right, true.
But I think that...
but we should all be able to agree on hurting somebody.
Absolutely, right. But at the same time, it goes back to that same thing that if I enjoy the freedom to marry, and Dan Choi, who's a good friend of mine, I don't give a shit about serving in the military, but if he can't, how am I supposed to enjoy the right to marry? That just does not make sense.
And I don't know if you saw, I had a post on Facebook recently because my husband and I were legally married last year when you were, and we filed a state refund jointly. And before we did that, I had filed it as a single person, and I was getting 600 something back. And in a couple of hours of my time, it tripled just because we were married. I don't think people realize that kind of stuff. And if it was federal, who knows how much we would get back? Because I sold a house last year, so I had to pay a whole bunch of taxes.
And we were screwed. And that's where I think that even if you talk about it in that language, they don't understand it because they can care less about the, so I know that taking something that they identify with, which is saying, if you're divorced, you can't get remarried.
Exactly. I think we need to do stuff like that, even if it's going to be, it's not going to happen, but it's going to threaten them in some way.
Right, but that's as asinine as them taking away a minority's right to be able to have a freedom that should be equally protected.
Exactly. Thanks for talking to me.